What's happening, everybody? It's Mike and Dave from Two Dudes Reviews. We're back after a couple weeks. Took a couple week break because of the holiday and such for 4th of July, so we're back now. So it's Dave and I here, and we're kind of just going to do a little bit of a, free-flowing little podcast this week, and we both saw a couple things. There's a couple new shows that have come back and that we've checked out, and some movies. We've also been playing some games and things like that. So what's going on, Dave?
What's up, everybody? Oh, yeah, it's been a long break.
Yeah, as I know last week, and I know you saw it. We both saw Despicable Me 2. I just saw it over the weekend, and I think you just saw it today and such. So we can go over that a little bit. I liked it. It was a really good movie. It was good for a sequel. I don't think it was, to me personally, it wasn't as good as the first one. I think the first one kind of grew on me because when I saw the first one, I didn't really like it all that much, and then it kind of grew on me over time with the story and the characters and things like that. But I don't know. I liked this one. It was really fun. I liked the new characters that they introduced and such, and I liked that they did a lot more with the minions and things like that. I think that really helped because they were there in the first one, but I think they were kind of testing it out to see how well those little dudes worked. But they added a lot of them this time. A lot more scenes with them, a lot more, kind of dialogue, I guess, if you want to say, with them and things like that, and more visual humor and things like that. But I really like that they added them and a lot more, and they're really funny. I think they did a really good job. What they did, they kind of were on that edge a little bit of almost a little too much at times with them.
Yeah.
But I think they balanced it pretty well. But still, it's a great movie. I really liked it. It was good for a sequel. Just not, for me, it wasn't on the level of the original one. But it was still pretty good. What did you think?
Yeah, I feel like every scene that the minions were in was a riot. This was one of the very few times that I was actually in a theater, and I was actually laughing out loud pretty much almost the entire time. And the minions were great. I'm actually gonna disagree with you. I think that this movie may have been one of the very few instances that I actually liked the sequel more than the original, and that's saying something because the original is actually one of my favorite non-Disney animated movies, and this one I think I liked it more because the original had to set up the whole, like, he had to adopt the girls, and he was out for the one thing. He was out for the one heist, but it had so much more of the action, the spy stuff, and it was I got really into that part. And like I said, the minions were hilarious, and Gru had a lot of physical humor. Like, yeah. there was a lot of funny, like, sight gags in this one. I was kind of irritated by the new character, by the Lucy Wilde character. I mean, she was supposed to be introduced, and I know there's always going to be, like, in a lot of the animated movies, you're going to have the love interest of the new of the main character, and at least if not the original, the sequel there. She kind of got on my nerves a couple times, but I've never been a big fan of Kristen Wiig, so maybe it was just kind of my prejudice coming out. Yeah. But no, it was. But still, it didn't drag the movie down at all for me. I loved it from start to finish.
Yeah, it's very well done. I mean, I don't know. I just think that was, I think the first one kind of does it for me just because it was so much more different than any other animated movie that we've come across.
Yeah.
It's such an original storyline and original characters and things like that it kind of, to me, almost in the second one, they had to do some cliche storylines as far as the love interest and they're going to eventually end up together and things, all that stuff. That it was kind of cliche, and the first one kind of was just more original to me. I think that's why it sets it apart a little bit from me. But they did really a good job, and I thought Benjamin Bratt's character, El Macho, I thought his character was great. And I loved the contrast between him being the the shop owner and also from him being the villain. I thought that was just really, really great how they did that. And some of the sight things, like I really want one of those tortilla, sombreros now with the guacamole. Like I want that to be a real thing now.
Yeah, there were so many times when I was sitting in the movie theater and I was like, that has to be a thing. Like
Right.
I want that to be a thing.
Right.
Yeah, it was yeah that was so cool. And yeah, and I'm really glad that they picked up. I don't want to say right where they left off because the second movie had absolutely nothing to do with the first movie
Right.
whatsoever.
Right.
But they picked up time frame wise right where they left off, where the girls had not grown up at all.
Right.
They didn't try to make them any older or any more mature because that was just the priceless part of the first one, and it kept it in the second one. That I mean, the older one, Margot's got a bit of the attitude, so she's there. So she's got some funny lines of her own, but with Edith the badass, and then just Agnes being just fucking adorable.
Right.
Like the movie is if not for the minions is still serviceable and made by the girls, and they didn't try to make them anything more than they were in the first movie because it worked, and I thought that was good on them.
Right. And I think, this, because I think they've confirmed it. I think that there's going to be an actual feature with the Minions. So
Yeah,
I think, that's, why they threw them in there a lot more often in the second movie, just because they were so popular from the first one. I know kids really liked them, and pretty much everybody, that was one of their favorite parts of the original. But I think they this was kind of almost a testing ground to see, um, you know, if more Minions actually worked, so they could make a feature film, just with them, kind of like almost like the Penguins with the Madagascar movies.
yeah,
That they're like they're gonna have. I think I read somewhere they're gonna have a feature film now just with the Penguins. I know they have a TV show and such, but I think they're actually going to go to the feature film route with that. So it's interesting how a feature film with all of that will play out. But I mean, I'll probably definitely go see that just because I think that they're so creative, and there's so many things that you could do with them. And then like I probably one of my favorite parts was the credits.
yeah.
Like
I was gonna say, yeah,
that was probably one of my favorite parts with all of them is the credits at the end. It's like it's kind of brought you back to the trailer from when they released that teaser trailer. So it kind
yeah,
of brought you that back a little bit. So it was almost kind of at certain points where it's like I wish this, even though I bashed 3D a couple weeks ago, like it was almost one of those instances where I wish I saw this in 3D because I think this movie would have worked
yeah.
in 3D. I think animation films probably work better than than the live action and things like that. But especially that scene at the end, I wish I kind of saw that in 3D and such. So, but it was entertaining and such. And I was surprised as far as I don't know if you were surprised by this, but looking at the box office report after the weekend, it's like that took that was expected. I thought that was going to be number one, but did you expect Pacific Rim to be at number three, only making $37 million over the weekend?
No, I didn't. I didn't
I mean,
expect this to get number one for 2 weeks in a row. Like,
yeah, it's just
I was really
surprising. And
surprised.
then, I mean, it's number three behind, and I have no idea why people continue to go see these films. But Grown Ups 2 ends up being number two, and it's just like, Jesus. I mean, this is why we can, Hollywood puts out these shitty films all the time, is because people continue to pay 40 million, combined 40 million for an opening weekend for Grown Ups 2. It's like, I think on Rotten Tomatoes they said it was the worst reviewed film of the year so far.
Yeah,
But people are paying
yeah,
money to go see it. It's just beyond frustrating, and it's our own goddamn fault is why Hollywood continues to put out shitty films like that.
yeah. It's exactly true. And I saw people were tweeting pretty much that exact thing was just basically saying, if we continue to go to pay for these movies, like it's our own fault. Like we can't complain that these movies are out there because people spent $40 million to go see a movie like this that is just
A sequel of a shitty movie.
yeah, like how and it's gotten to the point where it's almost like Adam Sandler has made so much money in his young career, and he made it off. I'll be the one to say it, he made it off good movies in his early career, that because
Yeah,
I liked him in his early career,
yeah, a few of
he
them,
made
not
so
not a
much
ton.
money that when he made his production company, that it's like, who gives a shit if people don't go see your movies? You're gonna make whatever movies you want to, and you're gonna
Right,
make sequels to those movies because you got the money to spare for it.
right. And it's just, I just don't get it that you have an original film out there that got reviewed fairly well as far as Pacific Rim, which is the type of film that it's a summer blockbuster opening on Fourth of July, kind of around Fourth of July. It's like you expect that one to be pretty much, I thought for sure that was going to be an $80 million weekend.
Yeah,
It's like that's the type of film that in the past has kind of always done that, regardless of how well it was reviewed or not.
yeah,
It's just surprising that to see an original story like that with what everybody I've read on Twitter, just the special effects and the CGI work is just absolutely amazing. But people would rather go see a shitty sequel of a shitty movie with Adam Sandler, who has got to be way past his time. You
yeah,
know, David Spade and Kevin James and Chris Rock. It's like, all right, those guys, combined maybe are funny, but do we really need to see another one of these buddy movies? That how much can they really do with that?
yeah.
Um, it's just awful to see that those type of movies continue to make money and things like that. So, but you know, I'm going to probably go see Pacific Rim this weekend. Just I want to see it and see everybody talk about it, even though I've accidentally overheard a bunch of spoilers about it, so I kind of know what happens towards the end. So, but I'll probably go see it this weekend. Especially if it's supposed to be shitty this weekend with the weather. But so I'll go check that out. Might also check out World War Z. Finally, I've been wanting to see that as well. But yeah, it just kind of sucks that people spend all that money to go see a shitty movie, and then that's what we end up with from Hollywood.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Have you checked any of the new summer premieres, the TV shows? Like, did you check out Suits or Newsroom?
I didn't check out Newsroom yet. Newsroom is I'm still catching up on the first season. I don't know why I've been so late on this.
Get with it,
I'm only
Jesus.
Yeah, I know. I got a backlog of shows to catch up on, especially on HBO. But no, I've been catching up on season one of that. I like what I've seen so far, so I'll catch up probably the rest of this weekend and then start to watch season two. Uh, but yeah, absolutely Suits. Watched that as it aired. Um, I felt mixed about Suits this week. It wasn't up to what I expected coming back. I expected a lot more of an explosive reaction to everything with Mike and Harvey, with what had gone on, and there was just kind of this standoff, this like kind of quiet between the two of them, and
Right.
I there was so much between the whole Mike and Rachel thing, and I expected more of a fight between Mike and Harvey as opposed to going the whole route of just the whole Mike and Rachel thing. But
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of odd because it was just like, I don't know. The thing about Suits I think that works so well is the Mike and Harvey relationship.
yeah,
And if you're gonna have this, like, I understand you're building drama here, and building a storyline, but you know, the way they play off each other so well and their timing and how quick they are with their dialogue and things like that. It just, to me, if you don't have that, the show kind of like loses a little bit for me. Even though I enjoy it, like Harvey Specter is one of my favorite characters on television, probably ever, just because, of who he is with that, confidence, and he has that sarcastic side to him and things like that. He's one of my favorite characters, and it's just like him alone could probably do it, but I think that show works when they're together. When they're being funny with each other, when they're being quick with each other, when they're like kind of almost insulting each other a little bit. It works that way, and it kind of and I don't know. I've ever since I know she's always been a part of the show, but the whole Jessica thing, it's just like, all right, enough. We get
yeah,
that you're trying to be this strong woman type and things like that, but it's just like I get tired of that really easy. I just want more of the Mike and Harvey stuff. and kind of maybe Rachel on the side a little bit, and Donna, and and Lewis and things like that. I kind of think those need to be, you know, I think Donna and Lewis are kind of perfect in how much time they have on the show, but we don't. The Mike and Rachel thing kind of like gets on my nerves a little bit as far as how much they give to it, and how much it's like how long are we going to draw this out? As far as, I mean, it looks like that's kind of ended now, that they're just together and things like that. But it's gone on for so long. It's like, all right, let's wrap this up here and let's get back to the original, what the show's about.
Yeah, it was so odd. They were doing like the sitcom thing where it was like they weren't together, and then they looked like they were going to get together, but then Mike got with somebody else, and Rachel found out, and then they were angry at each other, and then they found out they really liked each other, but nobody was saying anything, and then they finally got together. What is season 3? I mean, it's like that's not what this show's about. Like you're kind of taking the cookie cutter relationship thing and just throwing it into a show that's about something else. And I mean, we didn't need it. I mean, I I actually want to see something more with Harvey. I was actually really disappointed with what happened in this episode. I don't know if we want to throw out any spoilers, but like when he had to make the decision with Scotty,
Right.
and the decision that he made, I just hung my head, and I was just like, seriously, like, come on, like,
Right.
and people, and I know we've said things before, we've talked about things before between like the first and second season that is there going to be something eventually between, maybe it'll end up leading to that between Harvey and Donna,
Right.
but it's like right now it's like Harvey and Scotty kind of look like they're almost perfect for each other right now. And it's like they're kind of forcing them apart, even though like the show, everything, the plot of the show is bringing them together, but the interaction between them, they're forcing them apart with their dialogue, and it's like, come on.
Right. Yeah, and it's just like, I don't know. I find it interesting in the episode though that Mike always was one of those guys where he was never like Harvey as far as did everything it took to win. He always had those moral dilemmas as far as he wanted to win, but he wanted to do it the right way. Mm-hmm. And he wanted to do what was best for either the client or just the best way to the best outcome for everybody, including himself. And it seemed like in this episode, he's taken that turn where it's like, nope, I'm going to be like Harvey and do everything that it takes to win now and be as ruthless as possible, especially with how he did that, with that whole, the hard drive thing and things like that, getting access to the information about the letter and things like that, that was going to be sent over to the DA. And it's just, it's kind of a weird turn for him that he's always had that moral dilemma, but it seems like, now in certain instances, he's going to do whatever it takes to win for himself. So that's kind of an interesting take on it. And the other thing is that I was always, and we've talked about this, I've always, like, Lewis was always annoying to me. He was always the dude who's just like, oh, fuck, he's just like, but he's taken that turn as well for his character as far as he's more comedic now. He's more of, and I actually grown to like him. Like, it was almost halfway through the season last year where it's like it took a turn for me where I started to actually like Lewis and kind of sympathize with them as far as his love interests and things like that. But it was just like he's taken that turn to more of a comedic thing. Maybe he always was. It just wasn't. It came off weird before, but now it's very funny.
Yeah, I've always loved Lewis. He was probably one of my favorite characters from the start, and now I like where they're going, and I hate episodes where he gets into a confrontation and he loses. He's on the losing end of a battle, or somebody gets the better of him. So it always makes me cringe when that happens.
Yeah.
I'm not. So I'm not a fan of that, but I think it kind of sets it up for he's going to come back and he's going to win bigger.
Yeah.
When he loses in the beginning and then he wins bigger at the end. But when there is one thing in this episode that was absolutely hilarious, when he got the ink on his finger,
Oh, yeah.
and and Donna tricked him into drawing a little mustache under his
Yeah.
nose and doing the rotator cuff
Yeah, right, right.
exercises. Oh, I cracked up.
See, and I love that part, but the part that cracked me up with Lewis this week was when he was talking to Donna about what he had to do in high school with the kids that were bullying him, kind of. And Donna's like, the Breakfast Club, and he goes, "Is that a song?" I was like,
Yeah,
that cracked me up. I was like, that was probably one of the best lines for me
yeah.
this week with Lewis. And it was just, but it was, I don't know. I hope it goes back to what the show was in season one, kind of, because I got tired of the whole thing with, I forget his name, um, Hardman. I got tired of the things with him.
Oh yeah.
That got just old for me very quickly. Plus, I just didn't like his character, and now I have to deal with him in Breaking Bad that I'm trying to catch up in. And
Uh,
he's in a few episodes of Breaking Bad now. It's just like I'm annoyed with him because I'm thinking that he's Hardman from this show, and it's just like it just pisses me off. So I'm hoping he's gone here in a couple episodes. But I got tired of that. So I'm kind of hoping it goes back to what worked in season one. I know shows have to develop and characters you have to have different storylines, but I really enjoyed season one a lot. I like season two, but it was just they had those moments where it's just like I got tired of the Hardman battle. So I'm kind of hoping that maybe it kind of goes back a little bit and we get Mike and Harvey together back together again, which it's probably going to happen here in the next couple episodes. But it'll be interesting to see how they go forward. I just hope they get back to that formula that worked.
yeah, I want to see some more witty banter between them. Some more.
Yeah,
I want to. I want to
the
see him
movie
make some more movie
lines.
lines. Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So let's hope they get back to that. And are you? How far are you in season one with Newsroom? Are you almost done with it to catch up to the season or?
I think I've seen through. No, I'm only about halfway through.
Okay.
So yeah, so I've got half a season to go. Um, I stopped after that episode where they did the whole the Gabby Giffords thing at the end of the episode and
Okay.
just that the real powerful ending of that episode. So I've got about half a season to go. So
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you'll like, I like the show a lot. I know it had that critical acclaim for the first episode, and then kind of
yeah,
was all over the place in mixed reviews for the rest of the season. Um, but I really like the show, and it's one of those shows to me. And there's sometimes that there's shows that just do this where it's like I could care less about the plot of like all the different storylines. I
mhm,
just really enjoy the writing and the acting in the show. Like, that to me is sometimes where you could have the most ridiculous plot line or like something that doesn't make sense or a plot that kind of just annoys you and you want that plot to go away. But, it makes up for me in certain instances with this show as far as just how the dialogue is, the writing and the acting and everything like that. That just there's sometimes like I watched this episode twice, and I'm probably going to watch it a third time just because I always catch something that I miss.
mhm.
And that's maybe one of the issues they have with a show like this, where it's everything's so quick that you miss something. It's like I didn't hear that the first time because everything's so quick with it, and that's one of the things I really like about this show, and that I understand what like critics and things like that, where it's like they're using revisionist history with going back in time with these news stories and looking at with rose-colored glasses and changing a little bit of how the news should have handled these stories and also the other extracurricular things that happen outside of this, but on the show with the relationships and things like that. But to me, what matters most about this show and what I like most is the writing and the acting. It's just phenomenal.
Yeah, it absolutely is, and we saw this week that as far as Emmy nominations, we did see Jeff Daniels did get an Emmy
Right.
nomination
Yeah.
for Will McAvoy, which I think is well deserved because he's
Oh, it's
incredible on
phenomenal. Yeah.
yeah, he's incredible on the show, and I'm not surprised that we didn't get any nominations as far as best or lead or supporting actress because as far as like there's no everyone in that show is great, but as far as the female roles in that show, there's nobody that really stands out that much. I
No.
mean, Olivia Munn's great. Emily Mortimer's been great so far that I've seen. but nobody really stands out so much. And I think that's because with a show like The Newsroom, where they're trying to highlight, Will McAvoy as the news anchor,
Mm-hmm.
like they try to kind of like rein everybody in so that they don't overshadow their main character. And so I'm not really surprised that we only saw one as far as actor or actress nomination as far as the Emmys go.
The one I'm
So,
surprised about is supporting actors. I think Sam Waterston, dude, is phenomenal in this show.
yeah,
Dude is
yeah, that's yeah.
he is terrific in this show. It's like he is so much different than he was on Law and Order. It's just a different character.
Mm-hmm.
He's more aggressive. He's more just like honest in this show. And I know maybe it's a totally different character than being a district attorney on a law procedural cop drama, but it's just he is phenomenal in the show with some of the lines he delivers. I don't know if you're up to the point with there's a scene with him and Olivia Munn in the newsroom. Um, that I don't know if you're up to that point, but when you get to that point, just that scene alone, to me, for Olivia Munn as an actress and just as him as an actor, it put her on the map as an actress for me as far as being able to take her seriously. But it grew his character even more for me about and how phenomenal he is as an actor and how he seems like that could be really like his character could be real. Like that's really
Yeah,
somebody that would be the head of a news organization for a media company.
yeah, I
Um,
get that feeling. Yeah,
yeah, but when I can't remember what episode it is in season one, but there's a incident between him and Olivia Munn, and it to me that put her on the map as an actress for me, where I could finally take her seriously. Because before that, she always seemed to be this in sitcoms or these guest appearances where she was just used there as because she's really pretty,
yeah,
as the hot girl in the show. But to me, I can take her seriously as an actress now,
yeah.
and then that developed over time. And I think as the season goes on in season one of the newsroom, and again in season two, she seems to have this prominent role now, and that happens later in season one. But in this first episode, you can tell this is, she's one of the main characters in the show now. Where she
Yeah.
like it was slow to introduce her in season one. It took a few episodes where she would be in there for maybe a scene and a small part in a scene, but now she's growing into a person it's a main character of the show that you look forward to seeing what happens with her character.
Yeah, and I think I think they recognized that, like you were saying about like her being brought on the show for being the pretty girl in the show and then not being taken seriously. Is I feel like that's kind of how they introduced her in season
Right,
one.
right.
Was they made all these comments and like her, I really liked it. There was an episode, I forget which one it is. It's obviously within the first 3 or 4 episodes that she has, and the one where she's brought kind of from her financial sector on the show into the role that she takes on in the show, where
Mm-hmm.
she has this kind of conversation in an office with her and Emily Mortimer, where it's just like she goes from being the pretty girl that people want to watch on TV to this girl's actually got a brain and she knows what she's doing and she can really be an essential role in this news program.
Right.
And they didn't just do that on the show, like on their show in the newsroom. They did that for us as the audience too, in
Right.
relation to Olivia Munn. So I thought they did that really smart.
Oh, they've done a really good job with this show. I mean, it's one of my favorite shows, and I've been looking forward to it for a long time to come back. That and the other one is Homeland that I'm just really, really looking forward to, and I still can't believe that's still like the end of September.
Yeah, I can't wait for that.
Right.
It was all.
So it's like I think that's September 29th. I think I looked last time. That's when it comes back. So, but yeah, it's a great show, and they're doing a lot of, the newsroom. I like the ensemble cast. They fit really well with each other. They play off really well with each other. So I'm looking forward to the rest of the season and see how that goes. And you mentioned the Emmy nominations that came out today, and it was one of the things that I kind of when I heard them on the news this morning. I heard they talked about the best drama series, and one of the things like they were going through the list, and I didn't hear Homeland, and I was like, what the fuck? Why wouldn't Homeland be nominated for best drama? And then and they're going through the list, and then like the last one they mentioned was Game of Thrones. I'm like, how is Game of Thrones? It's a good show, but to me, it didn't. This last season didn't live up to what the show is for me, and we talked about that with our podcast that we did about the season, the season recap and stuff. But it was like, how was that not nominated, but Homeland was? How is that nominated and Homeland wasn't? And it's like, I just must have missed her, and that Homeland is nominated for best drama series. But it's kind of, and we had like a little thing on Twitter today. Because you were upset about Tatiana Maslany, is that her name?
Yeah.
Not being nominated for best actress in a drama, which I saw, and then I saw a lot of that on Twitter. Actually, people were just disappointed that she wasn't nominated.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, and not just fans of the show, but a lot of critics wise, were saying that she had one of the breakout roles of the year,
right,
with playing these 7 different characters in her pretty much her debut show. I mean, if you check her out on IMDb, she's got some other things, but this is really her first major role in a show, and she did such amazing things with so many different roles in one show, and it like a lot of people, both in the fan community as well as high up on the critics list, kind of feel that she got snubbed this year.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of conspiracy around how it's the Emmys and they're not gonna show love to a BBC America sci-fi show. They're not gonna they're not gonna deign to that level. They're gonna keep it to most major networks, and they're gonna keep it to shows that get a lot of advertising, and they're gonna keep it to names that you've heard of. But
right.
And I mean, there seemed to be a lot of outrage today about it.
And I think that you made one of those points in the tweet that you had out there, was that people that it seems like a lot of times with Emmys and things like that we're getting nominated, the same people over and over again with these same roles get nominated just because they've always been nominated, and you just expect them to be there. That it's so hard for somebody new to break through unless they're doing something that's extremely extraordinary that people are recognizing and people are always talking about. And that's not really the case with the show Orphan Black. Is that, like for me, I'd never heard of it until you started, tweeting about it and watching the show. I never heard about it. No, nor had I seen anybody else mention it before. So I think it's kind of hard for sometimes like an actress like her that's doing phenomenal work on a television show, but doesn't get a lot of play nationally.
Yeah.
Or it's not a name people are familiar with, and it's not a role that people are used to. It's like I'm going through the list here of like actress in a drama. It's Claire Danes' Homeland, which you expect. She won it last year, and she's great on the show.
She deserves that.
Right.
She deserves it again this year. Yeah.
Right. And you got Vera Farmiga, I think that's how you say her name, Bates Motel, Michelle Dockery, Downton Abbey, Robin Wright, House of Cards, which I agree with that one. That show's phenomenal on Netflix. Elizabeth Moss, Mad Men. That seems to be. I mean, that was another show I never got into. I watched the first season and I couldn't watch. I started watching the second season and just couldn't get into it. Connie Britton, Nashville, she was the mom on Friday Night Lights, and then she won the Emmy for that, which was phenomenal. But I haven't seen Nashville, so I can't really comment on that. And then Kerry Washington for Scandal, which Scandal's kind of it's one of those shows where it's like a mixed review show. Like some people really love it, some people don't care for it. So it's kind of weird that that these people are nominated, but all these names, and people don't know Tatiana Maslany. So that's probably I think that plays into it a little bit. And it's also the other thing we talked about when we were talking on Twitter, is that it also depends on what show they're sending to the committee. If they're not picking the right show, where it's that they're comparing it to someone else's performance, and maybe one of these actresses like Kerry Washington or Elizabeth Moss had that one great show where they showed so much acting talent that it overshadowed her. I could see that, but I think that's also what it depends on, what show they're sending to the committee, and because I think they only get to send one show for nomination purposes. I don't think they send a reel. Maybe they send a reel for actresses, but I thought it was always just one show that they sent over.
I'm not sure if they send a whole reel or they send just one show, but I think the thing that kind of bothered a lot of people most about the about her being snubbed as far as like a lot of recognition was going into the Emmy nominations. A couple of weeks ago, if not a month or so ago, there was a Critics' Choice Award for TV
Yeah,
um, award show that she actually was nominated for and won
right.
Best Actress in a Drama over like Claire Danes and over the, your regulars and I mean that's where a lot of people got they saw this Critics' Choice Award kind of recognition, and they thought that she would at least be a shoo-in for some sort of at least nomination.
Right.
And that's why when it came out today that she wasn't even nominated, people kind of threw their hands up at this and were just
Right. And I think there's also, we also have to remember this is a television show that they're putting on.
yeah,
So they're going to want the most ratings. And, what helps ratings is people getting nominated and people being there for people that they recognize.
right,
And maybe, perhaps she was better. Again, I've never seen Scandal or Nashville, but maybe Connie Britton, was great in it. She was great in Friday Night Lights, so I imagine she's probably great in Nashville. But Kerry Washington's a name people recognize,
yeah.
and maybe that also has something to do with it. It shouldn't, but I think that has something to do with it sometimes. But we can go through the list here for drama series. It was Breaking Bad, Downton Abbey, Game of Thrones, Homeland, House of Cards, and Mad Men. As much as I love Homeland, I think House of Cards has got to win that. I don't think you've seen it yet, um, but House of Cards is a tremendous show.
I think based on what a lot of people have said, I hope House of Cards does get it, but I would not be surprised if we don't see Breaking Bad take a lot of these categories
Because the last season,
just based on it being the last season. I
well,
think you're
that's
going to
coming
see,
up. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. I think you're going to. I don't know. I don't know if
maybe they
if
hold
they
it
get
off
the
until next year.
if they get the chance to get nominated next year, then maybe they'll win next year. But yeah, I think I don't think we're going to see as many sure things as we think.
Right.
Just because people are going to be like, oh well, let's give another one to Bryan Cranston, or let's give something to Breaking Bad or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, to me, it's like I kind of almost want House of Cards to win also, just because it's a great show,
Mhm.
and it's to me, go if nothing else, go get a free subscription to Netflix just to watch House of Cards. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? To anybody, just go get take the free month that they give you. I think now and watch House of Cards. Binge on that for a weekend, and it's tremendous. But to me, also a win for House of Cards helps the fact that Netflix gives them more power to produce original content.
yeah.
And to me, that's where Netflix is going to win the battle of all these people that want to cut cords of cable and all that. That if they win this, that gives them more power to produce more shows like this,
Mhm.
and especially on a quality of House of Cards. And they've done a lot of original programming. Like right now, Orange is the New Black. I've been watching that. I'm about halfway through. That's the first season that just came out last week, and that is phenomenal. It's not on the level of House of Cards, wise, but it's still a phenomenal show, and it's probably the second best original thing they've done. Because a couple other ones have kind of flopped for me. Like what was that one that came out, the horror one that came out? I forget.
Hemlock Grove.
Hemlock Grove. I watched the first couple episodes of that, just couldn't get into it. I think the Arrested Development thing got a lot of publicity, but I think people they binged on it and kind of forgot about it,
Yeah,
and things like that. And they've also there's another one that came out with Gillian Anderson from X-Files. They did, a show with her that kind of I haven't checked out. I'm gonna check it out eventually, but I've heard good things about that as well. But to me, a win for House of Cards is a win for that online only platform, so people can get away from cable television.
Yeah.
And it helps Netflix, with subscriber base wise, which I read in an article today about the Emmy nominations because it was the first online only show to get nominated until they got, I think, Arrested Development got a couple nominations and Hemlock Grove got a couple nominations for special effects. But it was the first, when that nomination came out for House of Cards, it was the first time any online only show had got nominated. And to me, that's just huge because that gives them more power to produce original content. And they've actually said that Netflix, their monthly subscriber base is higher than the monthly subscribers of HBO now that pay for HBO through cable.
That's awesome.
Which is huge because HBO was kind of always that they're still setting the bar television wise with original content with how many shows that they have. But I think a win for House of Cards will put Netflix on that level of being able to produce and getting actors like Kevin Spacey to do that.
Yeah.
Because he's the first big actor that has come over. I think what didn't Damages, that show on FX, didn't I think that came over to Netflix only?
I think it did.
Or was that DirecTV? Did that just go to DirecTV only?
Oh, I forget which one it was now.
I think one of them.
It did something exclusive, yeah.
Yeah, maybe it was DirecTV that it went exclusive to that. And then because DirecTV is also trying to produce original content as well. But to me, that's why I kind of almost want to see House of Cards win. Not only because it's just a phenomenal show, but it'll do such a huge boost for Netflix because that's where I think they're going to make their money because their online streaming catalog is so weak and it takes so long for a decent movie to come out. Then when one decent movie does come out, you watch the shit out of it, and then it's like, okay, I'm done. What else can I watch? You know what I mean? Unless there's old television shows or new episodes from seasons that you haven't caught up yet. Like for me, Breaking Bad that I'm catching up on. I'm almost through all the episodes. To get caught up on Breaking Bad. But it's just like there's movie wise, their catalog is so weak that they're going to make their money on original content, and I think this will do. The nomination is huge for them, but I think winning that category would be absolutely phenomenal for them.
It would, yeah.
And then the next thing on the next category, we went through actress and drama. So actor and drama is Hugh Bonneville, Downton Abbey, Bryan Cranston, Breaking Bad, Jeff Daniels, The Newsroom, John Hamm, Mad Men, Damian Lewis for Homeland, and Kevin Spacey for House of Cards. Breaking Bad I've seen, Newsroom I've seen, Homeland I've seen, House of Cards I've seen. That's another one. I think Kevin Spacey, dude is phenomenal in that show, and how it's how they do that show and how they break it up as far as it's a television show, but the dude breaks the fourth wall during the television show. It's phenomenal. It's such a terrific show.
That one I think is going to be tough. That's one thing I think is going to be tough. Season 2 of Homeland, Damian Lewis was just incredible.
That's a tough category.
So that one's going to be tough. That one's going to be tough.
I mean, I think Cranston's won the last 2-3 years in a row.
Yeah, he's...
Before that, and then Damian Lewis won it last year.
Okay, yeah. And then
before that was Cranston. I think he took 2-3 in a row. And then the next category, I'm not going to go through writing because there's a bunch of shows that have the same writing, but it's Breaking Bad, Downton Abbey, Game of Thrones, and Homeland. Directing, it's directing one television show a year probably. Supporting actor Bobby Cannavale for Boardwalk Empire, Jonathan Banks Breaking Bad, Aaron Paul Breaking Bad, Jim Carter Downton Abbey, Peter Dinklage for Game of Thrones, and Mandy Patinkin for Homeland. I love Mandy Patinkin in Homeland. Dude, he's a rough dude in that show, and I love how he just has some excellent dialogue.
He's a terrorist.
He's not the terrorist. I don't know why you think that. You have this.
He's a terrorist.
That cannot be the twist.
I cannot wait for season 3. You just wait.
I know that's always been the slogan of the show is that you have to watch a couple times to know exactly what's going to happen. I don't see that. There's no way.
We'll see. We'll see.
There's no way he's the one that parked that truck out there.
That might be my beard bet. All right,
That's your
that
beard
might be
bet.
the beard bet.
Oh God! I mean, that would be hell of a twist in the show that I don't think because I can't. I've never seen that theory anywhere else except for you.
Hey, no.
But dude's phenomenal in that show. I know Peter Dinklage is great as Tyrion in Game of Thrones, but Manny Patinkin is just phenomenal in Homeland. Supporting actress in a drama series, Anna Gunn. I can't fucking believe that, man. She is so annoying as Skylar White in Breaking Bad. She's insufferable in that show. But I guess maybe she's doing a good job as an actress, I guess. Maggie Smith, Downton Abbey. I've never seen that show. I've never caught that show once. Amelia Clarke, Game of Thrones. Christine Baranski, The Good Wife. Marina Karen, Homeland. I don't know which one is she in Homeland. I don't know.
Oh, she's Damian Lewis's wife.
Oh, that's her. Okay, I never knew her name exactly. And then Christina Hendricks in Mad Men. So
I don't think you can. I don't think you can give it to Khaleesi just because she was rarely ever in an episode.
Yeah.
And when they went to her, she was there for 5 minutes, and then they cut away from her, and she was gone for 2 episodes. So
yeah,
she really didn't have that much of a season this past season.
But I just hope Anna Gunn doesn't win it because fuck, dude, whenever you start
validating.
Whenever you start watching Breaking Bad, dude, you'll fucking hate her. There were seriously certain parts of seasons that on episodes I just wanted to fast forward through her parts, but I know I couldn't because I know some of her parts are vital to the show. It's just fuck, she's so annoying. I hate looking at her. It's awful. Next one is comedy series Big Bang Theory. I don't get that. I don't get it. Girls HBO. I've seen the first 2 seasons of Girls HBO. It's not a bad show. It's just fucking annoying after a while. Louis FX on FX, Modern Family on ABC, 30 Rock NBC, and Veep HBO. It's another one I haven't checked out on HBO that people like.
Yeah.
But yeah, Big Bang Theory. I don't get that, and I didn't get that. I watched a couple episodes of that, and I also watched a couple episodes of what is it? 2.5 Men. I never got the appeal of those shows. I don't know.
Yeah, 2.5 Men. You got to get into the early seasons. The later seasons sucked, especially the ones after Charlie Sheen left. They really suck. Big Bang Theory. I mean, I can watch marathons of that. I do watch marathons of that daily.
Yeah, I don't know. I just never got it. I've watched a handful of episodes and I just it's just another sitcom. I don't know. I just never got into it.
It's another sitcom. It's just I just get it because I get all the references. I guess I get all the comic book, the video game, the movie references, and just they have this writing style that plugs them into general conversation that it makes it comical. It gets a laugh out of me. So
you know what pisses me off about this nomination, this category? What the fuck is Parks and Rec? Come on. That's one of the funniest.
A lot of people were pissed off about that.
That's one of the funniest goddamn shows on television, and there's no Parks and Rec. We gotta throw a fucking 30 Rock in there just because it was the last season. I don't know. 30 Rock's funny, but it's not as good as Parks and Rec, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Actor in a comedy, we got Alec Baldwin, 30 Rock. He's always, every time I watch 30 Rock, he was always great in that show. He's one of the few things I really liked about that show. Jason Bateman, Arrested Development. Jim Parsons, The Big Bang Theory. Matt LeBlanc in Episodes. Never seen that. Louis C.K. and Louis. Louis is fucking great.
He's great.
And Don Cheadle in House of Lies. I saw a couple episodes of that. It's a pretty interesting show. It's on Showtime. So I've seen a couple episodes of that online. So actress in a comedies: Tina Fey, 30 Rock; Laura Dern, Enlightened. That's a HBO show. Lena Dunham, Girls; Edie Falco, Nurse Jackie; Amy Poehler, Parks and Rec; and Julia Louis-Dreyfus in Veep. For that, another category: writing and comedy. Yeah. Supporting actor in comedy: Amy Driver for Girls. Or excuse me, Adam. Supporting actor in a comedy: Adam Driver for Girls. Jesse Tyler Ferguson for Modern Family, Ed O'Neill Modern Family, Ty Burrell Modern Family. That's another show. I never got
Yeah.
into that show either. I didn't understand it. And this is surprising. Supporting actor in a comedy, Bill Hader for SNL. Usually you don't see SNL guys in this category.
No, you don't.
And Tony Hale for Veep. That's good for Bill Hader. I mean, he was one of my favorite guys on SNL. I'm sad he's gone.
Yeah, yeah. I'm glad he got that.
Supporting actress in a comedy, Mayim Bialik. Isn't that Blossom?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep,
Big
she
Bang
was
Theory.
awesome.
Jane Lynch for Glee, Sofia Vergara of Modern Family, Julie Bowen Modern Family, Merritt Weaver for Nurse Jackie, Jane Krakowski for 30 Rock, and Anna Klumsky for Veep. Isn't that the girl from My Girl? Anna
I
Klumsky?
think so.
Is that the one with her and
Her and Macaulay Culkin.
yeah? Isn't that her?
Yeah,
Oh,
I think so.
wow! I didn't know she was still acting.
I don't know. Yeah.
Here's the big one that got the most nominations this year in a lot of different categories. It was American Horror Story. It led the pack with 17 nominations. Didn't you're big into the show, right?
Yeah, I'm big into American Horror Story, but what confused the hell out of me was how does American Horror Story change its they changed completely the show. The the second season was completely different from the first season. They changed the name of it. That it's American Horror Story Asylum, and they're not considering it a drama.
Wasn't
They
it
consider it
wasn't
a
this a mini series? Wasn't it a series? Wasn't it a weekly
yeah,
series?
yeah. It was season two of the show. It was, and then they're considering it a mini series
A movie.
or a movie or something like that. And yeah, just that doesn't make sense to me at all. It's almost like kind of a way of circumventing the system and getting a nomination in a category I don't think it belongs in.
Yeah, and it's weird because they don't have any other big nominations as far as the big categories when it comes
Yeah,
to. So it's kind of they must have racked up the 17 nominations in smaller categories.
yeah,
But the rest in that miniseries or movie is American Horror Story Asylum, Behind the Candelabra, the Liberace movie that was on HBO, The Bible, it was on History Channel, Phil Spector, which was on HBO, Political Animals on USA, Top of the Lake, which was on Sundance Channel. Never heard of that one. Actor in a miniseries or movie was Michael Douglas and Matt Damon for Behind the Candelabra. Toby Jones, The Girl, Benedict Cumberbatch, Paradise End, Parade's End, excuse me, and Al Pacino for playing Phil Spector. Actress in a miniseries or movie, Jessica Lange, American Horror Story, Asylum. So there's one big category for them other than the other one. Laura
and she
Linney,
should get that.
yeah, she was good.
Yeah, she was amazing.
Laura Linney and The Big C, Helen Mirren, Phil Spector, Sigourney Weaver, Political Animals, and Elizabeth Moss for Top of the Lake. I'll mention directing in a movie for a miniseries or movie. Steven Soderbergh got a nomination for Behind the Candelabra. Here's where they're racking up their nominations for American Horror Story. They got two for supporting actor with James Cromwell and Zachary Quinto.
Yeah,
They also have one for Sarah Paulson as a supporting actress in the show. And what the? I didn't know the Emmys. The Emmys do a reality competition category.
yeah.
The Amazing
It's
Race,
fucking
Dancing with the
weird.
Stars, Project Runway, So You Think You Can Dance, Top Chef, and The Voice. Seriously?
You
They
get an award for producing people acting like fucking idiots.
yeah.
Like that's I don't know. I mean, some people end up being talented on these shows, and I mean, survivors in the American races. Those are just. I mean, I'm sure there's a team of people that work hard to put these shows on TV, but
Yeah. But
I
what
don't think
the?
these are award worthy.
And then the next category is reality competition host. What the fuck? Save that shit for like daytime Emmys.
Yeah.
Like that's where I compare these two is like soap operas. It's in talk shows. Put that in
Yeah.
and then the other last big category we'll mention is variety series. The shows in the variety series that were nominated was The Colbert Report on Comedy Central, Daily Show with Jon Stewart, Comedy Central, Jimmy Kimmel Live for ABC, Late Night with Jimmy Fallon on NBC, Real Time with Bill Maher on HBO, and Saturday Night Live on NBC. So that's the other ones. And the one I'm shocked about is that the writing for a variety series is Fallon didn't get nominated for writing in a variety series. That's shocking because I always think he kind of he does the most original bits, I think. Him and probably Kimmel do the most original bits for, those types of shows on television. So, I'm shocked that he didn't get a nomination. And there's Variety Special, Louis C.K.'s latest stand-up. Oh my God, got nominated for that. I hope he wins for that. That shit was hilarious. Too. So
yeah, if you haven't seen that, check that out. That's hilarious.
No, it's very funny. It's especially at the end. It's hilarious. So that's the variety series is an interesting category to me because there's so many decent shows on there.
Yeah,
with Colbert Report, The Daily Show, and Kimmel and Fallon, and I've always been a big fan of Real Time with Bill Maher on HBO. I've always checked that out when it's a couple days after it airs when it's on Friday nights. I always check that out on demand on HBO, or HBO Go really. So that's a tough competition too. I mean, there's a lot of good talent there.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting to see who comes out on top. And I don't think there's anything else on this category list here.
One thing I noticed that I wanted to bring up that I thought was just awesome this year is if you check one of the categories, I think it's like main title or like main title sequence or something like that. The guys at Microsoft Studios and Machinima Prime actually got an Emmy nomination for Halo 4 Forward Unto Dawn.
Really?
Just to get an Emmy nomination for a web series that's video game centric.
Right.
That's awesome. Especially like that it's being taken seriously. I mean, on the heels of especially what was it? The Oscars this year, Journey got an Oscar nomination for the soundtrack.
Really?
Yeah, for the score that was. I mean,
an Oscar.
We're starting to see real production value stuff from video games, from the video game community, getting real recognition and awards, and I think that's just awesome. Just to be nominated.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I'm going through the list here towards the end, and I find some interesting things here, like short format. Where is it? Short format live caption. Short format live entertainment programs. Between Two Ferns got nominated.
Awesome.
Yeah. A lot of different web series got nominated in that. I've never seen. Maybe I haven't been paying attention to the Emmys all that much as far as the other ones, but that got nominated. Short format nonfiction programs. They're all online things, like Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee. Which, if you haven't checked that out, that is with Jerry Seinfeld. It's hilarious, especially the one this week that he put out this week. It's with Chris Rock. It's hilarious. Other ones in that is like The Office, The Farewells. That was on. These are all online programming. So I didn't realize that they actually have they actually have categories for this. And then they have interactive programming, like the Game of Thrones Season 3 Enhanced Digital Experience on HBO.com, Homeland Show Sync on Showtime.com. A lot of these, I didn't realize they had categories. So they also have reality programming category, which I never understood. They have the ones that are nominated on that is Antiques Roadshow, Deadliest Catch, Diners, Drive-Ins and Dives, Mythbusters, Shark Tank, and Undercover Boss, which is kind of odd. Maybe we'll see Sharknado nominated next year.
I think Sharknado is going to end up getting an Oscar.
You think
Sharknado's going to the big leagues. That's going movie style. Sharknado's getting an Oscar.
That's I mean, that thing got so much.
Tara Reid was amazing in that movie.
That thing got. I didn't check it out. I know. I think that they said it replayed tonight for the people that didn't get to see it.
Yeah, it did.
And hopefully it'll be online sometime at some point. I'll check it out. But I don't know. That got so much. Like that was all over Twitter the night that it was on the first time. That's pretty much everything in my Twitter feed was Sharknado everything, and it's surprising how we're talking about shitty movies.
Yeah.
And I mean, the thing I love about that is sci-fi knows its shit.
Yeah.
And they play it off so well, and they know it's shits, and it's like, all right, we know we're putting on this shit show on for 2 hours, but we're gonna this is who we are, and we embrace it.
Yeah, just these real campy B-rated shit that is just so overdone and is so low budget that you can tell when the graphics and the CGI are so bad, but it's like how do you not love it? Like It's just I just love watching this crap. It's like there's no everybody when you watch a real movie you question stuff. You don't question shit on the Sci-Fi Channel. Like, oh yeah, a hurricane's going to create a tornado over the ocean. It's going to pick up sharks, and the sharks are going to rain down on people and still live, and they're going to eat people as they're raining down on people. Who the fuck cares? Like, this is awesome. The best part of the entire night, I have to mention this, the best part of the entire night was not the actual movie. It was watching like you were saying, it was all over Twitter. Will Wheaton had the best live tweeting of this movie. Like it was incredible, and it just made the experience that much better.
Yeah, and I like the fact that Sci-Fi knows what they're doing, and they, like I said, they embrace the fact that they know it's a shitty movie. They know it's bad special effects. They know they have some B-list actors in there that you can make fun of and things like that, like Tara Reid. And
John Hurd, the father from the Home Alone movies,
right? And
it's just drunk on a bar stool.
And it's just it's nice to see that that they're not taking themselves too seriously.
Yeah,
and they have also already said they're making Sharknado 2.
Yes,
and it's supposed to be in New York. And I think it was on the news this morning. They had I guess maybe she was the lead actress in the show. There was some like short blonde girl. And she was on the show that she was talking about how, her agent said something that, this is not going to be a very good movie, but this is the best you can get right now. And it's like, I guess she survived. So she said she's going to be in the second one.
Yeah.
That Sci-Fi said she was going to be in the second one. And they also said today that they're also, Sci-Fi's doing this campaign to get the name for the sequel. So it's Sharknado 2, and then there's going to be something else afterwards. So it's like, and she said it was going to be taking place in New York. So it'll be interesting that they already know that the people are going to watch Sharknado 2 because it's already taken off. So, which I find interesting about a lot of movies nowadays, that they're already putting out sequels. Like The Conjuring is not even out yet, and they've already said we're making a sequel based on the reviews that they've gotten, which I think it was 89% on Rotten Tomatoes so far.
Yeah.
And they've kind of said this is like the best horror movie that we've seen in a very, very long time.
Right. And I'm looking forward to it. That's coming out this week. I don't know if I'm going to be able to see it this weekend, but I plan to check that out pretty soon.
Yeah. So it's interesting that we already see these movies that have just come out, or like on television or whatever, or in theaters where they're getting such critical acclaim that we're already planning a sequel to this, which I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. Yeah. I sometimes I think they jump the gun on these sequels and things like that. But it's interesting. What's the other thing I saw that I wanted to mention? I don't think there was. I think that was it. I think that's. Yeah, but as far as movie-wise, I'm looking forward to the next big movie. I'm really looking forward to seeing is Elysium. That movie looks phenomenal.
So good.
So I'm looking forward to that coming out. What was the other thing that was coming out soon? This weekend it comes out, or today, is Red 2 comes out.
Yep.
Which did you see the Bruce Willis's interview on Fallon?
No, I didn't.
He talked about that stupid friggin' thing that you've been bringing up that you want to throw in my face now. That Bruce Willis shot a bee.
He shot a bee.
That
He shot a bee
what was her
with a blank.
what was her name? She said that she told the story originally.
Mary Louise Parker had a bee flying around her face, and Bruce Willis shot it with a blank right in front of her face and killed the bee and did not harm her.
Well,
Bruce Willis is a man god.
fuck. Yeah, you saw fucking Die Hard. Another Good Day to Die Hard. That's fucking shit.
I cannot wait for Die Hard 6. Whatever it's called, it needs to happen right
Did
now.
you like this most recent Die Hard? Let's be honest.
Yes,
take your Bruce Willis fandom out of it.
I did, because this A Good Day to Die Hard went so fast because it was just one explosion after another. There was no storyline to the movie whatsoever,
No,
and it
there
was just
wasn't.
it was all action, and it was
Did
what
you understand a single fucking word they said?
No, not really.
Right, exactly.
That's
You
why I
couldn't
thought there
hear
was no
dialogue
storyline.
over the action. Oh, it's
And
terrible.
it was just one long action sequence, and it's gotten to the point where that's what Die Hard is now. Die Hard is just basically like, I'm going to say it's one level above those crappy Expendables movies, where it's just like there's no point to the movie, but you see them just because you want to watch a, a fun action movie. You're not looking for some deep meaning from these movies.
Right, well, I understand that. But back to my original thing. Bruce Willis was on Fallon. He said that he did shoot the bee, but he didn't kill it. He said that it kind of, whatever the blank was in it, kind of knocked it out a little bit, but he said that it eventually flew away. So let's not increase this legend that he killed the bee with a blank. He didn't. He shot it, yes. Impressive, I guess so. I think there's probably a huge concussive force from a blank, but let's be real.
Yeah, he's being modest.
Ugh. Also comes out R.I.P.D., which actually does not have a single review of it on Rotten Tomatoes, so they probably didn't give that out to critics.
Because it doesn't even need to be mentioned.
Right.
It's just Men in Black without Will Smith in it. It's just
So we're gonna go on record, I guess, that because Ryan Reynolds has 2 movies coming out this week, Turbo and R.I.P.D. I'm gonna guess Turbo will be his top movie this week.
I'll put my money on that one.
And then also the other one that comes out is The Conjuring that comes out, and that's 84% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
So that comes out, but I'm probably gonna go see Pacific Rim, see what see if the hype is lives up to it with the Pacific Rim, and also probably I might check out World War Z this weekend since it's still, I think it's probably the last weekend it's going to be in the theater, so I'll probably check that out as well. One thing I did want to mention, I did find it, is that Neil Blomkamp, who's directing Elysium, did also District 9.
Yeah.
Is that on Reddit they linked to one of the IndieWire, which is one of the major independent websites, movie websites, that he's already started writing District 10. And and in order for him to write District 10, he turned down to work on writing the new Star Wars movies with J.J. Abrams, which is imagine J.J. Abrams and Neil Blomkamp working on a new Star Wars movie. So,
wow.
But yeah, he turned it down in order to continue writing District 10. So, which that
must have some sort of principles, I guess. I don't.
Right. Yeah.
You're going to turn down new Star Wars movies with J.J. Abrams?
Right, and then to write that together. That's the one thing I wanted to mention. I saw on Reddit this week. So, are you playing anything on video games wise?
Nope. I've actually just been after I finished The Last of Us I played it through on Survivor difficulty, and that got so frustrating that when I finished it, I just kind of threw my controller and I was done with it. No, I picked up I picked GTA 4 out of my old games pile, and I've been working my way through that. I haven't played that in so long, and it was sitting there collecting dust, and I wanted to play through that again.
Yep, we've been playing some multiplayer. The multiplayer on that game is phenomenal.
Yeah, that's been awesome.
It would only be enhanced if they fix the fucking cars, which I hope they do in GTA 5.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
driving is
the
awful in
driving
this
mechanic
game.
is just awful. But I think that's also one of the things that makes it so fun is that it's so awful that kind of it works that way. I guess a little bit
Yeah,
that it is so bad that it makes it hilarious. So we've been playing a little bit. I've been playing Dirt 3 a lot, which I know you're not big into racing games, but Dirt 3 is a shitload of fun. It
yeah,
is for it's not arcadey at all. It's more on the lines of simulation, but it's not so much simulation that it's not on a level of Forza or Gran Turismo. It has a simulation form to it, and it's fun because it's challenging because the AI is not forgiving. Like most of these types of racing games, is like once you figure out how to play the game, you can dominate the AI, and you're winning by such large margins that you have to do some figuring out. Like if you play in casual mode for Dirt 3, you're not going to have a lot of fun. It's very arcadey. Like on casual mode in Dirt 3, it actually brakes for you, so you actually never have to take your hand off the throttle, which is just boring.
that's weak.
Yeah, so I've bumped it up to a difficulty, and I've even turned off some driving assist now. Um, so I actually have to do drifting on my own and things like that, and turned off the racing lines, and it's just so much fun. And there's just so much variety to the game and I know it's been out for a couple of years now, but if you like driving games, and it's fun because it's also rally racing, which is different, and there's so many different modes from point to point races to rally cross, and you get to play in X Games tracks, that are actually in it, that were actually in the X Games, and on snow, on dirt, in the rain, in the mud, and they have trucks. They have rally cars from every era, so you can play the most recent rally cars, and you go through the 90s, 80s, 70s, and 60s, where you're actually rallying an original Mini Cooper,
Oh,
which
nice.
is really fun. And there's a trophy for that if you win a race with the Mini Cooper. So it's really fun game. I've been having a lot of fun playing Dirt 3, because even though you get familiar with the game and you get pretty good at it, you could still finish in the middle of a pack in that game because the AI is not forgiving, and it's challenging, and actually has some like almost real world feel to it a little bit because the AI will get a little crazy and they will wreck each other. So you'll see like in front of you these amazing crashes in front of you, and I've also turned on. They have two different damage models in the game. They have visual, where it's only just visually impacts your car. So like if you hit a wall or whatever, a fender will fly off. And they also
Yeah.
have damage that will affect your performance, which
Oh,
makes it
nice.
kind of it's puts some realism into it a little bit. So like if you hit your fender on a wall or whatever, it's going to impact your handling, which is a lot of fun. So it's a fun game. I recommend it, especially right now. It's a couple years old, so it's cheap used.
Cool.
So, and you don't need to buy an online pass for the game that comes with it that you can use. So, um, things like that. So that's what I've been playing most often. Playing some GTA 4, waiting for
Yeah.
GTA 5. What did you think of the
Yeah.
GTA 5 trailer?
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah,
I cannot wait for this game. The multiplayer looks incredible. That
just the
because it's even
teaser of
packed.
it.
Yeah, just the teaser trailer. You see so much that gets you excited for this game to come out. I mean, just the swapping between characters looks seamless, and it looks actually useful. The multiplayer looks fun. The driving looks like they've improved by leaps and bounds.
Yeah.
Um, and this what I'm noticing as I'm playing through 4, and that I noticed from the preview of 5, is that they're going. It seems like they're almost going back to a better story. When I'm playing through 4,
Hmm.
the Nico has this he has this vendetta, this agenda, and you kind of stay in this. I mean, you make money and you can buy better clothes and stuff, but like your safe houses are given to you. Your cars you have to jack along the way, and you can park one outside of your safe house.
Right.
But like the older games, 3 and Vice City and San Andreas, you had garages. You had places that you could buy houses. You could buy,
Right.
or you could find cars that you knew where to find them.
Right. Right.
Like it's it seems like they're almost going back to that with five. The parts that people really like, the spending money on things, the kind of this whole like get rich or die trying kind
Right.
of story mode, and I want to see that come back, and not just have an actual story with just linear kind of point A to point B. Get me to the guy that I need to kill, and then
Right.
that's the end
Right.
of the story. While you're in an open world situation, like
Yeah.
I want to be able to do things and like buy stuff
Right.
and
And that's what I was impressed by the trailer. Is it seems so immersive as far as what you can do in the game, as far as being able to play golf
yeah,
and play tennis, and you can go hunting and all this other stuff that they're adding to the game. That's more than just the actual game itself. That I find that just tremendous, as far as they're bringing a lot of all of their franchises together, almost
yeah.
the best of every part of every franchise that they have. Because one of the things, what was the racing game that Rockstar did? Was it
Midnight Club, I think.
Midnight Club? And I think everybody's hoping that the driving style for Midnight Club is in GTA 5.
Yeah,
And like it looks like they probably brought over some gunplay and things like that from probably both Red Dead and Max Payne.
yeah, I
Um,
hope so.
and things like that. So it looks like that they're combining a best of Rockstar kind of in GTA 5. And the one thing that I was concerned about in GTA 5 was when we got to find out a little bit about it before all the gameplay trailers and things like that dropped, was the three protagonist thing. I was kind of concerned about that. I was like, how is that actually going to work? That you're going to be playing as all these different characters, and they showed in the trailer how that's going to, and I understand that their trailer is a perfect environment, and they're playing as perfectly as you possibly could in the game and getting the best look
Yeah,
possible. But I'm hoping it's as free flowing as that you can switch between the characters as free flowing, and when you're on a mission and you can go between the three guys or two guys, as far as jumping into a building and then having a guy in the back in the perfect spot to snipe everybody and things like that. So I'm glad to see that kind of that lessened my worry a little bit, dampen my fears about having to play as three different people.
yeah,
And it'll be interesting to see how they do it, because how they talked about in the trailer was that if you're just fucking around in the game and not on a mission, you can jump between the people and see what they're actually doing in their daily life. From one guy, like you're riding a bike with your kid, then you want to hop over to the other guy, and he's got a 5-star wanted level, and you have to evade that when you drop into him. It's like, and you can
yeah,
just drop into him randomly like that. I think that's a cool feature.
yeah. That's gonna be pretty cool. It's gonna lead to a lot of panic. You know,
Right,
you're on
right,
you're on a bike ride with your kid, and then out of nowhere you have a 5-star wanted rating. But
right. Yeah, if you want to
it's gonna,
switch over, I think
yeah,
that's awesome. And the other thing I like to see, and I'm glad that they brought it over from Red Dead. And even though Red Dead, it's and everybody loves it. It's just one of those games I just couldn't get into. It just
yeah,
it had it just didn't hit me as well. And I've tried to play it a couple times, and it's just like I get to a certain point, it's like, even though I know this is a great game, it didn't capture me as it did for most people. But I'm glad to see they did a weapon wheel,
yeah, yeah. The weapon wheel is huge.
because
I like
playing.
that so much more than just having to click through and
Yes.
flip through weapons to choose the right one.
Yep. Yep. That's one of my frustrating things when we play GTA, the multiplayer in GTA 4, is like you're trying to get to a certain thing, and it's like, all right, all right, all right. I don't want that thing. I just give me the RPG, for Christ's sake.
Yeah,
you know. So yeah, it'll be interesting. That's what I'm waiting for the most. That's I think everybody's waiting for that for the most. But was it come out mid September, the 17th? I think September
yeah,
17th.
yeah.
So yeah, that'll be awesome. So, you got anything else you want to talk about, or?
The only thing I noticed just quick was EA Sports. I tweeted this earlier. Was that EA Sports terminated their contract with the NCAA,
Mm-hmm.
which I saw after this is that when
Yeah.
they said that this year was going to be the last year for the NCAA franchise, was that they turned around and said, "But wait, we're still going to make college football games."
Yep.
How are you going to make college football games without any licenses from any of the actual college teams?
Well, because it was an article surprising where I found it was on ESPN.com. One of the main
Okay.
headlines on the site was that NCAA doesn't sign contract with EA Sports, and it talks about the first paragraph. It says that EA is no longer allowing, or NCAA is no longer allowing EA to use their name in their games, that they're not renewing their contract. But EA has signed up with the collegiate licensing, and so that collegiate licensing owns the logos and owns the likenesses and the school names, not the NCAA. So they can't have like the BCS in the game. But EA plans to build their game around. They said 4 college teams that they're going to build their game around. They're going to build around. They're going to build around Alabama, Florida, Ohio State, and Oregon. That's what they're going to build their game around, those 4 colleges, because this collegiate licensing program has already given them permission. They've already signed a deal for at least those 4 colleges, and they're expecting to sign on more other colleges to be able to use their uniforms, their logos, and everything else that goes with that college football wise. So that's how they're going to do it.
I think it's going to turn out bad. I have a feeling it's going to turn out to be this almost ladder type system where you're going to start out as a player on a team that no one's ever heard of, that it might be a fake team with a fake name, and you're going to have to work your way up, you're going to be a coach for a team that has to work its way up, and you're going to get into a playoff situation, or you're going to get into a college bowl situation where you're going to play this big bad team that's actually in the NCAA that has this really high rating, and there's going to be this like team building and like rating building kind of situation on a team that no one's ever heard of, or from some podunk town in lower Texas or something like.
Right.
I don't know how well that's going to work out for them.
Yeah, here it is. It is the Collegiate Licensing Company. They manage the trademarks for the majority of colleges. So they've already signed on. I thought it was Florida. It's only 3 teams right now. They've already signed on Alabama, Ohio State, and Oregon as the 3 teams that they're going to build the foundation of their game on. But they hope to sign the other schools that are with the Collegiate Licensing Company, which is probably, it sounds like there's the majority of the like UCLA is on there, and it sounds like the majority of the major powerhouse college football teams are a part of this collegiate licensing company. So they'll probably still be able to build a decent game out of it, but you're not going to be able to use the conferences, so they're not going to be able to use the Pac-10 name or Pac-12 or SEC or anything like that, or use the BCS as a championship or any of the bowl names, because those are all NCAA. The NCAA owns all that.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll get something like the Black College Football Experience.
Yes. Yeah.
Maybe we'll get something like that. So,
yeah.
But they said that the first non-NCAA affiliate EA Sports college football game will be called College Football 15. So, and they probably will sign more teams but they said they're going to build their game around Alabama, Ohio State, and Oregon. So I imagine those 3 teams will have the best ratings in the game, as they probably should, because they're probably the 3 best teams in college football. So, so that'll be interesting. We'll have to see how that plays out. It's probably going to play the same as every other friggin' EA football game.
Yeah, so might as well wait till that comes out. They drop the price on 14 and go pick up 14. But this will be the last good one.
Yeah, but I'm sure like 2K is going to pick it up. I'm sure that's.
Oh yeah.
That's always. I think that's been the rumors that 2K, that NCAA and 2K have always they've had that rumor that once they're out of EA's hands so it'll be interesting. Which to me, it means more for colleges, is that colleges are going to get money from this collegiate licensing with EA, and they're also going to get money from 2K if NCAA signs up with them. So just extra money for the colleges.
Yeah.
In the conferences and things like that. So that's how they're going to get around that.
All right.
I think that's it for us this week. Kind of a different format. We'll talk about all of our reviews are on our website, twodudesreviews.com. Number two, dudesreviews.com. You can hit us up on Twitter as well, Facebook. Both Dave and I are on Twitter. We're pretty active on that as well, so you can hit us up there. You can subscribe and like and comment us on iTunes with the podcast. Also, the podcast is up on YouTube now, so you can check us out there as well. You can like and subscribe us to that on YouTube. So that's it for us this week. Hope you enjoyed it. We will be back again next week with another edition of the podcast. And cheers. We'll talk soon.
I'm going to go shoot some bees.